Hello virtual racers, this is Jason for Pitlanes Sim Racing, and today we're going to be doing something slightly different. No racing, no reviews, but what we're going to do is take a look at the new development blog by Reiza Studios for Automobilista 2. This May development blog is all about the new version 1.2 of AMS2, which is due within a couple of days on June the 4th on Steam. So let's dive in and let's see what we've got to look forward to. This first section here, they're talking about the release schedules, the update schedules, how some builds are big, some builds are little, and how the world events have affected this, the lineup, what's coming, what's not coming, the things that happen during software development. Nothing ever quite runs to plan, but they're letting us know that this new build, version 1.2, as I say, on June the 4th, is going to be one of the bigger builds. So let's scroll on down, and the first thing we come across is the new Racing USA DLC. This is the first pack. There's going to be 3 in total. We're going to be treated to 3 new tracks: Daytona, Long Beach, Laguna Seca. 3 brilliant tracks, all steeped in racing history. Daytona with the banking, Long Beach with the walls, and Laguna Seca with, of course, the corkscrew. So, gonna look forward to checking them out. We've got 3 new GTE cars coming: BMW M8, Corvette C8R, and Porsche 911 RSR. Brilliant to see Porsches coming out in so many different sim racing titles now since the license is available to more and more developers. Brilliant to see AMS2 being able to grab such big licenses and headlining cars like that. Looking forward to the GTE content. Do like the cars. They have a little bit more downforce and they have less electronics, no ABS. So you as a driver have more impact over the race pace. They're a bit more hands-on, and I like that. But it's nice to see that because we've already got GT3, GT4. So it's nice to see that along with the more unique content and retro content, that we are getting some mainstream cars and tracks. Should help, hopefully, with the multiplayer side of things, because there should be more people in the sim. A little bit about Sim Racing 604, getting a little exclusive first look. Brilliant little channel. Just search Sim Racing 604 on YouTube and you'll find him and his content. We're also going to get a Cadillac DPI. Only one at the moment, but it does say for now. So obviously they're going to roll out the bigger class, get some multi-class racing going. That's always great fun. Always something to do. You're either overtaking the slower cars or you're in the slower cars trying to get out of the way of the faster cars. Means that races are never dull. And what else we got? A free surprise. We're going to get a BMW M4 GT4. That's going to flesh out that class now then. So there's a good selection in there. You've got McLarens, Ginettas. There's a Porsche in there as well. So yeah, and I like the GT4 cars. I like the fact that they're the opposite to the GTEs. Less downforce, less power, but with less downforce, your driving style will affect it. You need to keep the momentum up because you can't just fall back on the downforce to save you. You have to have a little bit more input, a bit more driver skill. So yeah, nice. Looking forward to a new free GT4 car in the shape of the BMW there. What have we got? Real weather, customizable date, and live tracks. Ah yeah, now this does look interesting. You're going to be able to select the real weather for that time and date that you put in, and it's going to go back in history. So you'll be able to select the time and the date, and it will give you as accurately as it possibly can the real world weather for that track and that location. It's going to be really interesting to see how this is all going to work. It seems a lot of work for something that possibly not a lot of us are going to use. I don't know. we can still have scripted weather, so we can still say we want it sunny all the time, we want it wet all the time, or we can just set it up and the weather will change to match what it was doing at that time in the real world. I don't think that's something we've seen in any other sim racing title. I think this could be exclusive to AMS2. It takes the live weather effects that the Madness engine first displayed in Project Cars 2 to a whole new level. We never had the chance to run it takes running you got the virtual cars, virtual racetrack, and now we can have the real world virtual weather to go with it. Actually, the more I think about it, the more exciting it could be. But it makes the title stand out. It's something different. What have we got? Making beautiful dynamics beautiful. Let's have a look. Expanding. Right. So we're going to get HDR lighting. We're going to right. Better shadows, texture improvements. Brilliant. So what they're doing now is they're upping the finesse, the graphical finesse of the tracks. And that's important. It helps with the immersion. If a shadow doesn't quite look right, or the lighting effects are off, it just spoils the illusion, and it takes you out of the virtual world that you're trying to, be in. So that's great. That's going to be interesting to see where they start. Is it going to be on the new stuff coming? Some of these screenshots, look at that. Absolutely stunning, isn't it? Really is coming together. Even the cars, that material updates, new set of drivers' outfits. So now look, between the 60s and the 90s, and all the way to modern drivers. So depending on what car you pick, depending on when that car was about, you're going to have a period driver. When you're doing video content, it's pictures, videos, that's just going to really help to capture the essence of the car that you were driving. Now, I like little touches like that. For me, because I enjoy screenshots and creating media. So yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's it. Yep. So cars and tracks are going to get a graphical refresh. I take it that's going to be an ongoing thing, though, isn't it? Because there's a lot of cars and tracks. Physics development. Also, think about naturally. Version 1.2 also packs another substantial physics revamp across the board, following recent discoveries made on the physics engine. Let's have a quick look. Right, okay. So they've unlocked some more detail from the Madness engine and the force feedback engine in there. They're able to alter things. Highly sophisticated tire and driveline models are going to be implemented. And they still don't think that they've got the best out of the Madness engine, so there's more physics and force feedback improvements to come. I'm really looking forward to that, because they've been on a roll with the physics of the MS2 cars. Compared with a year ago, compared with version 1.0, I love it. It suits me. I have direct drive wheel, and I find I can really dial it in and really feel connected with the car and the track. So if they've managed to unlock some more detail and unlock some more from that, then wow, that's going to be well worth checking out. Hey, on to the AI. Extensive calibration pass to even out the playing field, following all the physical developments. More consistent challenge from AI in single player races. that's another step forward that they've made, especially in the last 4 builds. I'd say the AI, brilliant. They feel more human-like, especially on the first lap. There's less of that tappy on the brakes and throttle and darting about. They have a more of a natural flow to them. So if they're getting a bit more of a challenge as well now, can only be a good thing. Can only be a good thing. It's nice, even when you're on the AI, it's nice to know that that pass counted, that pass mattered, and if that's what we're going to get, then it's thumbs up. On to the audio. Wow, this really is a big update. Look, pack some great improvements for the sonic experience. They've been able to flex the muscles of the F-Mod engine. New surface sound model, delivering more realistic and informative tyre sound effects. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice, because that can be quite jarring in some sim racing titles. The screech is too loud, or it's an unusual constant rate. It doesn't fade in or fade away. So anything you can do with sound effects for tyre behaviour, can't wait to listen to that. Especially with surface sound model, hopefully it can start to compete with games like Race Room. The amount of noise you hear when you go off track, you hear the gravel banging up in the wheel arches and underneath. If you can get some more of that, I'm all for that. They've optimized it, less CPU bottlenecks. Brilliant. It's a pretty lightweight title for how much is in it and how good AMS2 looks. It does tend to run on just about anything, and it always looks good. So if they can find any way to help lift the title, make it easier to run, so we can turn everything up to 11 and still get a good performance, brilliant. Wow. Now this is something that people have been asking for a long time. Look, create your own championships. This is what adds to the longevity of the single player experience. It's brilliant. You can dive in, have a race, enjoy yourself, but that's it. Odd race here, odd race there. Now you can get stuck into it, pick the circuits you want, the cars you want, the opponents you want, and put together a season, be it short and as long as you like, including weather. So everything's going to be customizable. Scoring system, brilliant. So you can work out the points order, who gets them, how many they're going to get, and that's having a championship, having something to fight for, especially now with the new AI, providing a more consistent challenge. That's really going to open up and expand the single player side of it. Something to really get stuck into. Quite nice at some of the menu screens. Ah, yes. Yeah, there's some cars in there that I wouldn't mind trying a little mini championship with. Now that's a feature that is appealing to me more and more. The more I've heard about it, the more I've thought about it. So yeah, I'm really glad. Right, what else have we got? Important notes going into version 1.2. Right, let's have a look. Settings reset. We strongly recommend users to delete the content of their tuning setups, as some old settings may cause game-breaking issues with the latest physics developments. That's the trouble when a title goes a big step forward, is that sometimes the way you've got the title or the car set up isn't going to work. So that's going to create a bit of work, but if it improves the overall experience, it's worth putting a few minutes in. Wow, 10 to 15 gigs worth of space to accommodate the additional seasonal foliage sets for all the tracks. That's to do all the graphical updates and all the weather effects. Crikey, that's a lot. We should, that's going to make a change. You're going to notice that on track for sure. Time trial. Oh, they're going to reset existing time trial leaderboards. Maybe regardless to physics and live track updates or render times. Yeah, makes sense. Otherwise, how can you compete if it's different? How are you going to compete your times against the previous times? Performance. The latest developments generally result in improved shadow quality, but overall some side effects and a minor performance hit under the same settings. Generally, settings have been bumped up a quality level. So if you previously you were running shadows on ultra and experienced a performance hit, with 1.2 consider switching to high, as it should still provide the same relevant detail to ultra. Oh, that's right then. So it looks like because they've unlocked some of the CPU bottlenecks that they can up the standard of the settings, so everything that was a tier up is now more accessible. Well, brilliant. Bit here about buying the DLC standalone full expansion pack that includes parts 1, 2 and 3 to be released later in the year. About the season parts, buying their premium packs. I haven't got the season pass. I might have a look at buying the full USA expansion pack if it's a good enough discount. Likely as I'm going to buy all 3 parts, so may as well get it now while it's cheap. I think we're going to finish off with a picture. There's all DLC tracks will be available for all users in multiplayer sessions, whether they own it or not. Oh, that could make life a little bit easier now then. So if somebody creates a session and they own DLC, you go into multiplayer but don't have the DLC, you can still line up on the grid and race. Anything to try and help out the multiplayer side on AMS2. I've had a few races, had good fun, works really well, simple to set up, but it just needs the player base. But I think until you get official ranked and scheduled races and events, that's always going to be really quiet, compared with the other sims, but we'll see what the future brings. And also look, they recently conducted a Q&A session through their Facebook page, and they're going to be putting a transcript of all the questions and answers up on their forum. I'll leave a link to their forum in the description, so you'll be able to find it, and when it does go live you can have a look at the Q&A and see what people asked and see what the replies were. Well, that's a look at the Reiza Studios May development blog for AMS2, and it's all based around version 1.2 of the sim, which should go live on Steam June the 4th. We will of course be checking it out, seeing what changes it's had, what the new DLCs will look like. So remember to like and subscribe. Keep an eye on our new AMS2 content coming very soon. Well, thanks for looking through the development blog with me. Hope you enjoyed this different style video. If you did, let me know in the comments, and we'll see you out on track. We'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.